Let's call the EDA March 10th meeting order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
President Monge,
Here.
Vice President Matthews,
Here.
Treasurer Bramscher,
Here.
Member Reynoso,
Here.
Member Gogra is absent today, Council Representative McKenzie,
Here.
and staff and ex-officio members present today are Executive Director Frandle, Community Development Director Roberts, EDA Secretary Cherne, and Public Works Director Ritchie.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda, please?
So moved.
So move. Dave?
Second.
Second. Joe? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before we get started and jump into the minutes, I'd just like to introduce Cesar Reynoso and have him introduce himself and just tell a little bit about yourself. I think most people know you, but it's your first official meeting, so welcome.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I think I know
Welcome.
most of you guys here. My name is Cesar. Moved to North St. Paul and working with North St. Paul for the past 10 years. I'm a small business owner, have a small cleaning business, work with local businesses and try to grow that side of our business, and I'm happy to be here.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Good morning, afternoon. How are you?
Evelyn,
Hello.
you want me to? I can go next. Are we just introducing now?
He's brand new.
He's
I'm
brand
brand
new.
new.
Yeah, we
Nice
just,
meeting you. My name is Peter.
Cesar.
Yeah.
welcome. All right.
All right, next up is approval of December 9th meeting minutes. I guess kind of did we already adopt the minutes from the last
Can I
one?
get a motion to adopt the minutes from the December 9th meeting, please?
Please.
So moved.
So move. Dave? Second, anybody?
Second.
Motion.
Second, Joe? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Now just meeting open to the public.
Is this where our friends come into this part, or is it something else?
That'll be, well, we could do that now. I think I have.
You can have wherever you want it. There's nobody else besides our guest speaker here, so.
Yeah, let's do that. I think now's a good time for that.
All right.
Yeah, Jim Lavelle here.
Thank you. Welcome, Jim. Appreciate it. It's been a while since we've seen you. We enjoyed working with you on the Article 7 building, so,
I enjoyed working with you and your staff, too.
yeah, we're going to give us a
Thank you.
little, appreciate you, give it a little update on what's going on in the world, and
Oh, sure.
have it.
Well, I guess what I was asked to come here for is just kind of share what I'm working on and what's working, what's not working. Is that what? we
Yeah,
wanna-
yeah, we're just trying to see, as far as you're out there, you're seeing what's going on as far as businesses, commercial, how it's going, if there's been any big major changes since the, interest rates have been going up and down, how it's looking out there for us, because as part of the EDA, we're trying to, make sure we're on top of what's happening so we can get some opportunities. We have a couple lots here that, see where we could go with them and just kind of get a feel what's happening out there.
Sure. Well, why don't I tell you what I'm working on now, because I think that applies. So there's some good things and smooth waters and sunny skies, right? And then there's some choppy waters and some other stuff over there.
Sure.
And the staff knows this, we're working with Collier's Mortgage. We're going to refi our article building. One of the reasons to do that is to extend the loan term out. We got financed originally by Sunrise Bank at 6.3%, and it's a 5-year term, and it's got another 5-year extension on it. But we're going into a HUD program now that's going to allow us a 35-year AM, and our interest rate will decrease. We actually just got our commitment last week, which allows us to lock the interest rate. We haven't yet because the 10-year is bouncing because of things that are happening around the world. But the 10-year today is at 4.12, which would give us an interest rate of about 5.3%.
Wow, that's huge.
So we save a full point on it. Those HUD loans are a little expensive to originate, but long-term, there's a lot of benefit to do them. So
Sure.
So that's what I call is a positive thing. We'll probably close on that loan in the next, say, 60 to 90 days. So it's a positive thing. We're not going to take any cash out or anything. We're just going to roll it. And anyway, so it's good, really good for the project. Another good thing I'm working on right now is I'm building the culverts in Faribault. So we have a relationship with Deanna Wesley, who's a franchisee. She'll own the business and we'll own the building. We got our financing through that on December last year through Bell Bank. They financed that at 5.9% on a 5-year deal. So that's another positive thing. We have, it's a pretty sweet deal for everybody. The way it's set up is the cost of the project will be about $4 million, and she'll pay us about, or 10% on that. She'll pay us $400,000 in annual rent. So it's a pretty sweet deal for us. But on the flip side of it, we've given to her is she could buy it from us at any time at a favorable cap rate to her. She can buy it at a 8.5 cap, where if we put it on the market, we could probably get in between 6 and 7 somewhere. So that's literally hundreds of thousands of dollars that she'd save. So something like that is a simple, standalone little deal, and it works. Some things that are bad right now out there that I've seen. I toured a building 4 months ago. It would be it's located on the northwest corner of 169 and 394. It's the Interchange Complex, a bunch of white, tall buildings. The building was at auction. It was about 14 stories, 13, 14 stories. It was bought in 2018 for close to $40 million. That building had Wells Fargo in it, university in it. Anyway, there's substantial vacancy now. Wings Financial foreclosed on it, put it up for auction. It sold at $2.8 million.
Can't get a house in Plymouth for that, hardly.
Right. I was looking at to convert it to apartments, but there were some structural things with the building that we thought were just too problematic to take on the risk. About 2 weeks ago, downtown Minneapolis, the Lumber Exchange building was put up for auction, and it was sold for $1. Core downtown Minneapolis, historic building that had tenants in it, $1. City Center, downtown Minneapolis, was bought in 2017 or 18 by affiliate of Samsung for $387 million, something like that. Target had 1 million square feet in it. The pandemic, they left. They never came back. And then they just paid $110 million to get out of their lease. So they're not coming back. That money was put against the mortgage that was like $100 million. That building it's probably going to be sold for $30 or $40 million. Hundreds of millions of dollars gone. So big, those really rough waters, right?
Especially big.
And that's repeated itself. That story's repeated itself downtown Minneapolis and downtown St. Paul several times since the pandemic has occurred. I mean, literally, these assets that were bought for hundreds of million dollars were selling for, single millions. So that's really, really rough water.
I did hear too, downtown, there was 2 or 3 in St. Paul that were sold to nonprofits, which you're not gonna get that tax base then too. So you're going from, those buildings where you had something coming in to, the rest of the taxpayers are gonna have to pick that up then too.
Right. I mean, I've been really lucky in my career, but I'll tell you a story about a building that I did in downtown St. Paul, right next to Union Depot. It's called the Dunnigan. We did a 7-story, 91-unit apartment building. It cost us just under $20 million. We built it, started in 2019, went through the pandemic, and we watched downtown just change. Why we're building this building. The building got done, this beautiful building, it got leased up, then rent control happened, and everyone freaked out. My role in that was developer, and I had an ownership stake in it. But a buddy of mine, Nick Walton, he signed on the debt, and he was the asset manager. Anyway, so that building operated the way it did, that we watched the neighborhood change. It did get filled up. Rent control happened. It was financed at 3.3%. The debt had to get redone after 5 years at almost double, 6. So we put the building up for sale. He put the building up for sale. It traded at $14 million. We lost $6 million in 5 years in an apartment building that I did. That's the only one I've ever lost in my career. We have some other buildings, like the Avondale in St. Paul. I built that building after Dunnigan. We financed that building at 2.82%. And now this July, we'll have to refinance it, come somewhere between 5.5 and 6. So what happens is, I mean, you know, you have to get a debt coverage ratio for what your net operating income is, and then there has to be so much cushion, right? So what happens is it's going to be a cash event. You either put cash in, because you have to solve for that math problem. So there's some good and some bad. There's always good and bad.
Well, you were interested in that Margaret Commons over there for a while across, and we still have that available. What's your thoughts on, you know, with that type of situation where we have a piece of land? How aggressive should we be? Do we wait a while for things to iron out? I mean, you know, that type of thing. What are your thoughts on that?
On Margaret Street, yeah, I know. Yeah, I've looked at it, and we put a plan together that was a 4-story building and 65 or 66 dwelling units with some on-grade parking, some undergrade parking. Let me back up. After we finished Article, or when we financed Article, that building cost $25 million, and we had to come up with $8 million in equity. So my main partner, Bozzer, and I looked at it. It's like, how do we do more with less, right? How can we take $8 million and do 10 buildings or 6 buildings, right? So we hired 3 guys, Pete, Cody, and Andy, and they played, and their career has been in the affordable housing space, where you finance buildings with bonds and low-income housing tax credits, and you're still doing nice housing, right? It's just a different way. I've always played in bank financed and those type of things. So we hired these 3 guys, and when we started talking about Margaret Street, Pete came from Dominium, Dominion's got like 30,000 workforce housing buildings. So Pete and I looked at different financing mechanisms that the state of Minnesota offers and tax credit offers. And on that building that size and what it would cost in today's dollar, there's very limited resources that we could go to finance that project like that. There would also be probably a TIF requirement. So it's a function right now of interest rates, construction costs, still interest rates, construction costs, and to make deals work now, there's deals that are getting done in the Twin Cities, but when you see them, they're 300 unit, 200, larger deals that cities are helping bridge the gap. And then there may be some other gap financing. So the solution today, there are new residential, that size parcel doesn't allow for, like, when you're underwriting a project, if you get to 200 or 300 dwelling units, your payroll cost per dwelling unit, you can underwrite that you're going to be more efficient on the building. On a smaller project, it's just harder because you still need those people, and you don't get the efficiencies that you need to make the numbers work. Because you'd be surprised, and really, you talk about these big numbers and all this stuff, but the margins are so tight on these deals. It's hard to solve from. We're really proud of the things that we've done. I'm so grateful to our partnership that we created for Article. The people are renewing their leases. Everyone seems happy. And so I'd love to go to Margaret Street and figure out how to do something we can get done there. I just don't know the answer for it today because the resources are so competitive. I mean, Minnesota has got a really good pool of sophisticated developers on all like asset classes. So those resources get gobbled up so quickly. And we're now searching out of state. We have projects in Michigan, Wisconsin, Nashville, Pennsylvania. And these are all these guys that we hired to play in the more affordable housing space. Although it's, you know, it's great housing, it's just got this workforce, it's got this name to it, but it's financed different than just going to a bank and getting the money to do it. So I haven't forgotten about Margaret Street. I'd love to figure out Margaret Street, but I don't know that I have today. I can't stand here and say I have the answer on how to do that because I'm going to provide the type construction quality that I'll live in, right? And maybe there's another guy that's figured out different construction methods that can make something like that work. I mean, we studied every way we could on it. We got 3 different bids from 3 different GCs on the concept plan. We did a lot of work on it. And there would be likely to be some component of TIF. I think that site qualifies for it, meets the SNF test on it.
We got that old building in the corner
Yep.
that we're keeping up for.
Yep.
So when you're,
But there's still good and bad out there, right? There's always good and bad, and you're also always solving for a problem. And I know your other sites that you have downtown. It would be more feasible or easier if they were actually bigger, so you could create something bigger.
somebody has to, either side of the empty lot has to expand, like they're gonna build
Right.
onto it or something. That's where we're at. That's why we're actually looking at paving between sidewinders, because people use it to park, and it's not really a parking lot. It's pretty uneven, so the way the market is, we thought we'd pave that, use that for, everybody parks there anyways, use that as a parking lot. And we got the sign over there, and I appreciate you, Ron, moving it over there for development. So that's kind of the one we're gonna focus on. But as an EDA, if you could help us to maybe, how much effort do we put into it, or do we wait? I mean, is it big enough for anything, or is it just something we just hold on to as far as, because the size, it's a weird shape. You got the alley in between. I mean, it's an odd spot. It looks like it's bigger because you think it goes all the way back, but then we got the alley easement behind it. So it is not a lot of room, even though it looks bigger than it is.
Well, I don't know. Advertise your opportunities. I think you went out, right? I think that's smart to do. And if someone doesn't come, that doesn't mean that someday you won't get someone else to come. You can put,
You actively try to get, because I know there was somebody that was on before, they want to get a group to go out and advertise and, hire people to try to do this for the lots. And we're just seeing, is that worth it in this market right now to be able to,
if you advertise it for a period of time, and if you're not
I mean,
successful,
hire a
then
firm
take
to
it
go
down.
find it is what,
Right.
I'm thinking.
Yeah. And there's a lot of really good brokers too, in town. They do specialize. I mean, there's JLL, there's CBRE, there's Colliers. I mean, there's a lot of good brokers. And I would suggest to go with one of the qualified Class A versus, and I'm not trying to dispel any their talents, but versus Edina Realty, someone that focuses on residential sales.
Sure.
And if your advertising isn't successful, take it down and then bring it, take it back out,
Advertised in a couple things out there. It's just, how much we're, just wait for the market. We don't have any expense into it. It's been sitting there empty for decades, so it's not a cost to us.
Yeah.
But, is it better, maybe a Culver's, you can slide one in there.
We need 1.2 acres and minimum of 45 parking stalls and
We tried to get one.
4,360 square foot building,
All right.
2 drive-through lanes.
Well, we're off a little bit of space missing. So, but, all right, well.
So during the pandemic, they had issues with supply chain issues and stuff. I think that's kind of been settled out, but now we're dealing with tariffs. What are you seeing for kind of cost of construction? Has that changed?
No, we haven't really, there hasn't been any really roll down of the tariffs. that we've seen. So one other deal that we're working on now is Essentia Health did this huge hospital up in Duluth, and we got introduced to them to see if we couldn't figure out a way to do some workforce housing for all the people that work at it. It's just under $1 billion. If you haven't been to Duluth, it's a beautiful building. But they're solving for people to live and work there. So Bauer Design Build, who built the building down the street, Pete gave me a price to do a 7-story building, 225 dwelling units, about a month ago. And the cost for that building was more than the building down the street by just roughly about a 3.5% to 4% yearly increase. And he's not there. And we talked to several other builders, but they're not seeing lumber. They're not seeing crazy steel. When we did article, the pandemic created a bunch of chaos with electric transformers, switch gear. You'd have to order this stuff when you're starting those buildings, actually before you even started construction, for the stuff to get there. So the timelines on all that stuff is compressed, so everything's normalized. But every year there keeps going a tick like this, which is better than something like that, and but it's not a decrease either. And so you can't rely on just continually increasing rents just because of other things. The rent growth hasn't kept up with the growth of everything else, is my point. So if interest rates, if we start seeing 3s and 4s again, you'll see stuff rolling again. But unless there's some other, we'll call it gap, like up in Duluth, the gap up there, we had a round table with J.P. Morgan, the Bush Foundation. We knew there was going to be a gap, and there's all these stakeholders in Duluth. And so right now, on the price that we got, we're solving for about a $7 million gap, even assuming TIF, to do the housing up there that they want. So the problems are the same everywhere you go. And the Bush Foundation, at the end of the day, they might step up and provide the majority of that. So we'll see.
It's interesting. I just love, to hear your different scenarios and how you take the money here, and it's an art trying to, do finance.
Well, there's a lot of smart people around me, a lot smarter than me, so.
But, you
Appreciate
don't
the
realize all the thought that goes into this. You just think, you just build something. But no, there's so many different things, and the revenue coming in, how you're going to do this, and different programs, and
Yeah.
with the art.
No, you have a great downtown, and I would love to figure out how to do some more housing here, some retail buildings. I mean, the same, and then going back to when we were doing article, there was this huge desire to have retail in our building. So we agreed that we would, for a period of time, market the building, a portion of the building for retail spaces. And we had 3 hits out of close to 700 invites on it, right? Herbert's and Gerbert's, and who's the other sandwich guy? Jimmy John's. And they both, so they design or, bumwad on their deal, and based on what interest rates were there, they're like, it's gonna cost us, we won't even, based on our forecasted sales for this location, it won't even pay for the tenant improvements that we have to make to this building, much less rent. So the problem you're solving for is the cost of money at that time when we were going through that exercise. The cost of money was too high for them to make deals work. And the cost of construction. So the same problem.
Yeah, you had to come back to us because you couldn't get any financing for that floor if it was commercial, so we had to do some changes.
Sunrise Bank would not give us revenue. They would not count the retail revenue in the way they sized the loan. They would only count the residential, because it's a bit perception until you really understand it. Because if you go up and down 7th, there's a few of the retail storefronts that look like they've been vacant forever. But they're getting paid. People are using them, but they're using them like back of house, not front of house. So the book reads kind of funny, right? So yeah. And then addition, mixed-use buildings, I did the Grove, I did Sydney Hall Dinky Dome, I did the Edge on Oak. I don't know, I've done a bunch of them. And there's always an issue with the retail tenants in those buildings. The Grove was built in 2021. It's on Snelling and St. Clair. It's on the southeast corner. It's got 4,400 square feet of retail in it. The Good Clinic moved in. They opened all these clinics around town. And then they went belly up because they didn't have the money to keep operations going. So the building was built in 21, so 5 years old. The Good Clinic moved in for a period of like 6 months, about a year after the building was open. And now it's been vacant ever since.
That whole bottom one.
Yeah. On Snelling and St. Clair. Yeah.
It's a great location. Yeah, it is.
I live in that neighborhood there, so yeah. Yep.
So there's always challenges.
Yeah, it's always challenges.
Is there any way, this would be a stupid thought I'm thinking, is there a way it could take, if and when we did get this community center taken down, is there a way we could square that whole property along with the 45 or 47 parking spots? Square it off, dig down and do into your underground parking and build up from there like you did Article 7 to give you underground parking for residential above, for a more of a senior high-rise or stuff like that again? See what I mean?
I mean, that site's gonna be big enough to get some volume on it.
Get your square line and we could straighten out Sepulveda down there a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then take all the parking and put that all underground for the building to go up.
Sure.
And run it in off of First, or the North St. Paul Drive or whatever it is there. And because that's lower compared to where the floor is for the community center.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
That way
Is
we
that
can
building
use
in
the
that bad a
same-
condition that you'd wanna demolish it?
Yeah,
It's in the process.
it was gonna be 8.3 million to fix it.
Oh, boy.
They only paid $2 million to build it in 92 or 2 something, and it was 8 point, because it was, everything is shot. It's the 90s where they had the foam with the fake stucco on it, and the birds peck at
yeah.
it, then the squirrels eat through it, then they run around the inside, and so,
Give you a good deal on it. Yeah.
So, so that's been on our plan, because we just couldn't, we had a $5 million grant during the, the $18 billion surplus, so we got a grant to fix it for 5, but didn't even, so another 3 million, it's just, we couldn't do it. We couldn't afford it with the residents and how much money that would cost. Plus, with the state, you had to keep it open 20 years besides, so it just didn't help us financially.
That's tough.
Yeah, but
But if we could dig down, square the whole building off to the 47 parking spots along Franklin Apartments, go up from there from the other side, from the west,
Sure.
that would be, at least we're not losing the land and we can reuse the property that we still own.
Right.
so, well,
Well, there's always an interest from our group to come and see what we can do to create more here,
that's good.
for sure. Yeah.
We're happy to have the relationship, and we're
Yeah,
looking forward
likewise.
to see what the future brings all of us.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been educational. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, well, thank you all. Yeah, thanks for the time.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Jim. All right, so next up is the election of the 2026 officers. We can just kind of go over this. The officers that we have are president, vice president, treasurer, assistant treasurer, and secretary. So we'll open it up for discussion, and then
So, right now, of course, I'm president, Joe's vice president, Brandon's treasurer,
yep.
and council member.
The assistant treasurer was open last year, which was normally taken by the community development director, but we were between community development directors at the time. So that will be open. Secretary, of course, is Chris.
Yep. All right, anybody have any thoughts? As far as how it's, any changes you want to see?
Don't look at me.
I'm absent.
You're absent. Oh, lordy.
Are you here? You're here.
Yes. So
Unless there's any changes proposed.
if there any, yeah, if there's any changes, we could just go the same route as last time, if that's acceptable to the group.
That's fine with me.
Unless somebody wants to bump their career up.
The treasury position stress you out, or you?
It was okay. It was okay.
You managed? Way to go, way to go.
We'll buy you a new roll of tapes for your machine, so you can print it off for us.
So are you gonna have a sale day for North St. Paul people to come out and eat at the River's Edge out there again? Down at downtown there? I'll come out.
So we have to do this individually then for the vote?
I would like at least to do the assistant treasurer and just make that clear, because normally that is the community development director, and I would propose Ken for that. So if you'd like to vote on that, otherwise you can make it in one fell
Okay.
swoop if you're not planning on making any changes besides.
Doesn't sound like any changes?
Yeah, in years past, when the community development director was the,
Yep.
assistant treasurer, I mean, it's not an issue because there's checks and balances. If they were 100% say on what happens with the budget, then I think that, but that's not the case.
That still comes back here for a vote.
Exactly. So there's not,
Okay.
I don't see an issue with that.
Sounds good. So, okay, I have a motion to nominate Ken as assistant treasurer.
So moved.
So move. Joe?
Second.
Second. Dave? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any? Okay. And the second one would be for John Monge to remain president, Joe remain vice president, treasurer is still going to be Brandon. Does that work for everybody unless somebody else would like to change? If not, can I have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
So moved, Dave. Second? Treasurer, Brandon, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. We will bypass the discussion of current environment for construction, since we just discussed that. Move on.
Very educated. I'm glad you got a hold of Jim.
Yeah, he was great.
He's a wealth, he's a wealth of
I
knowledge.
didn't know who it was, so I was glad to meet him or see him there, yeah.
He was great to work with through that whole project. Just
You guys
very down to
always,
earth. Yeah,
Yeah.
great guy.
So, and he has a love for North St. Paul. He's mentioned that quite a few times with different projects and different people, so it's nice to have them.
Indeed. Next up, I'd like to open it up for the city-owned lot at 2579 7th Avenue East. We did bring Public Works Director Ron Ritchie here to shed some light on that lot. Quick, if we could, please.
Still sits in the very back, even though he knows he has to come up.
You're not on camera way back.
Where the trouble ones are.
It's only 3 steps for you. So that's,
That's why I sit in the back.
That's
Otherwise,
right.
I get here.
Otherwise, you're
quick.
too close,
I
huh?
gather my thoughts. It's a lot of pressure coming up here. Well, I think I know most of you, except I don't think I've ever met Peter, but my name's Ron Ritchie. I'm Public Works Director. Most of you know that. So anyway, we're talking about the lot, the Sidewinders lot, or next to Sidewinders. We refer to it as the Sidewinders lot, but actually it was the old medical building.
Yep.
I believe it was torn down. I think the first year I started here in 2008, the city tore that down. And underneath it was actually it was a bomb shelter for way back in the day. So the concrete down there was really, really thick. It took us a while to get it down. But yeah, Brian, I'm not sure where or what the discussion or how you want this to go here.
We're just wondering about the lot and, what it means to you guys for having to be able to store stuff there. Also trying to plow something that's Class 5 and maybe some issues we've had with the lot.
Yeah, so
Purpose lot.
Yep. So just a quick rundown, and I won't get into all the details, but downtown, getting the snow out of downtown, how we handle that is we plow all the snow out of downtown. We don't leave any banks to step over along the curb lines, where we plow. We've kind of always done that. I think at the end of the day, it's a great result, just because we don't have that extra snow down there or banks for people to step over. But in order to do that, the only way we can do it in the time that we have to do it is really we have from 1 to 7 a.m. And really that timeline is probably 2 to 6, 2 to 5 is kind of the sweet spot for us to do that. And that all depends on when the snow stops. But in order to do that, we actually with all the new buildings now, we make 2 different piles on each end of town. One of them, we use that lot to pile snow, and then we used to pile it on the corner of Helen and 7th Avenue, the little corner lot that used to be the Right Price gas station. But since that road project got done, we don't do that. The way we took out some driveways going in there and we planted trees, but that used to be our 2 snow storage spots. Well, we kind of lost that one, so now we're using our well house where our well is. It's right behind the Article 7 building, right in the corner of Helen and Sepulveda Boulevard back there. So we have a hired contractor that we use downtown to plow snow off the sidewalks, and then we, depending on how much snow we have, we send another one of our guys down there in a skid steer to plow the snow out on the road, and then we have a loader that with a 16-foot pusher on, which we push the snow to those spots. What that does is allow us the time to get the snow out of there quickly, and then to allow us time to pile it somewhere and then haul it out at a different time. We actually lease another loader now because the buildings downtown, we have to push a lot further because we don't use that corner lot. So it, like I said, doing that, it just gives us that time frame to get it out of there and pile it up there and then haul it out at a different time. The lot, the way that it's sit, we haven't really, it's partially, I don't want to say it's paved, it's the remainder of the blacktop that was there where the building wasn't, and that lot goes from the sidewinders to the tattoo shop. So the property that we own is from building to building. So part of it is paved right up next to sidewinders. Where the building was torn down, that's really dirt. We put recycle base in there, but if any of you have ever had a dirt driveway in the wintertime, freeze-thaw cycles, it just ices up. We had a resident fall there. She slipped and fell, and she was going to get her hair done. And I spoke with her on the phone, and to salt it and maintain it, it really doesn't work with the dirt. We maintain it the best that we can with what we got to work with, but having a dirt parking lot is it's not ideal.
So it breaks our code.
Plus,
We're against our own
yeah,
code.
yeah. I don't know if I should say that or
No,
not,
it's
but
the truth. It's the truth. Let's say it.
yeah. So, with that being said, paving it, the lot is always full. But like I said, we do use it as that snow storage part. And if we end up losing that at some point, there's going to have to be other discussions on how we're going to handle the snow downtown in a timely fashion. When we get a super big snowstorm, if we're 8+ inches, we do have to handle it a little differently. We don't have the time to push it to those spots. We might push up in the stalls on the end of all the parking stalls, just because we don't have the time to handle that much snow. And then we'd have to come back in another night and come out and push all that stuff out in the road and then get it hauled out. In the past, just kind of how that looks quickly, when we have that much snow, we just push it to the end of the stalls, and then we hire contract trucking, usually 4 to 6 dump trucks, and then we have a big snow blower that we can put on the side of on the loader, and then we send kind of everyone down there, all of our resources, all of our guys with skid steers and tool cats. We push all that out in the middle of the road, we windrow it, and then we can use our big snow blower and we fill trucks up that way to get it out. We can fill a truck up in about 30 seconds, tandem axle truck with the snow blower we have, but it's another night that we come in to take care of all that, to get all that snow out of downtown. So
You bring it to McKnight Field, is that?
right now we haul it, to McKnight Fields. That's really the only spot that we have to do that. And we pile it right now in between the 2 ball fields, the Legion ball field and the softball fields. What's bad about that too is that it's kind of dirt back there too. So this time of the year, if we had a big snow that we had to haul, you go in there, you're sinking. But we've had it down there where we've hired a bulldozer to ramp it all up when we had a ton of snow. And we just get it up as high as we can, because really that's the only place we have to go without having to pay to, dump it somewhere. So, I don't know if I hit on kind of everything.
I think so, yeah. Just trying to point out how important that lot is to the downtown, means for clearing out down there and for the businesses and stuff, so appreciate you bringing that
Yeah,
information.
and we got pricing on it. I don't know if they have all that.
I got it here.
Yeah, in there. We had this priced out, so I forgive me, I can't remember the time frame on it, but it was gonna be, it was looked at as in making that area into a park at one time. They called it a pocket park. We had it priced out about, I don't know, 8 different ways: half sod, half parking lot, all grass, AstroTurf, all kinds of different options with that. And the price just was, kind of went up and up and up. And if we put sod in there, we have to get irrigation back in there to maintain it. So, it's been looked at a whole bunch of different ways. And then I think they decided that they were going to try to market it to sell it. And then status quo, it's kind of where it's at. But, if we have residence falls, we can't take care of it properly. The good thing on the pricing that we just got updated on here from when we got it priced last time, it's about, I think our cheapest bid is about $16,000 less than what it was.
2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago. So for now, that's the case.
Yeah.
So we're looking at, I think Brian asked to get some pricing on it, and the mayor for us to, or I'm sorry, you're the
Cost for
president.
oil? Yeah, president.
Yeah.
Keep my title straight, would you?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
I might look the same, but
Yeah, so, like I said, we got some bids to do that, and I guess you guys are gonna discuss what you wanna do with it, but like Brian said, it's, for what it's sitting there right now, our luck will probably pave it, and then, someone will wanna develop it, but I guess that's not the
price
end
of
of the
doing
world.
business, yeah.
But-
They'll come with a nice new parking lot, the price of the lot went up.
Yeah. Yeah, so,
Long after we sodded the old city hall site, did we sell it?
yeah,
Yeah.
we sodded it and put irrigation in, and
Plus, it's an eyesore right now when you drive past it.
it is, and
Looks like
for
hit
us,
by a bomb, and it's just.
for a city, I
green.
think it's the right thing to do, because it can be properly maintained. It gets used, like I said, and we can properly maintain it that way, so. Yeah, any questions that you guys have that I can answer, I'm more than happy to.
When they're gonna lay this blacktop along sidewinders, are they gonna kind of put it in a curl so the water runs back towards the middle and other?
Yeah,
angels there?
we always,
Yeah,
when
so
they lay all that
backwards,
stuff out,
yeah.
consider the drainage for
We don't
for
wanna
that.
go on in their building or.
Yep.
And we can stripe it, is that fine?
Yep, there's striping in the price of it, so.
How many did it say how many cars would be? out
It
there?
does, yeah, I don't, I was looking back there, I was looking at that, and I thought that might get asked. I don't know, but I'm sure we'll squeeze as many as we can out of it.
Well, you got against the wall, I mean, they're parallel, or, perpendicular there, so I'm
Yeah.
sure you get quite a few in that lot.
So we'll figure out a layout for there, and, when you do that, I'm sure we'll have to, there'll have to be handicap parking in there, and, there's a formula for that, for how many you need, so.
Perfect. And there's 2 entrances coming in off of 7th, right?
There is.
That's nice, so you can go in and out again, and plus you can go off Sepulveda, so it is an easy access for the.
Yes, yep.
And that will remain the same.
Would you change
Yes.
that?
I don't, we didn't look at changing that, because you get into sidewalks and, different things down there. And when you do that, there's some, we had all those old planters down there. Some of them have been filled in with concrete, some of them have been filled in with blacktop over the years. So it's kind of hard to stop if you're gonna start redoing some of that. It might get into a little more, but, we did not look at changing any of that.
I'm just glad there's 2, not just 1.
Yeah.
That helps. All right. Any questions, anybody?
So what we're looking to do, the price was 70,000. The 2 bids, the lowest one is now $54,203.81. So actually looking to make a motion to see if the EDA is willing to move forward with the expenditures to improve that lot.
I think at that price, you can't pass it up right now.
Plus, then we're in regulation with us right now. We're not even following our own rules.
What are we not following?
You have to be on solid pavement for, you know.
Any extra driveways
Yeah.
or anything has to be
Yeah, you're
blacktop.
It was supposed to have either concrete blacktop, you're supposed to have that kind of pavement down.
Even on residential.
I mean, it's one that's being used, as far as, there's always people there, so it's not like, it's not gonna be taken advantage of. Plus, it's storage too, so I think it gives us a good opportunity to clean up the look. I think it'll look a lot nicer too when we drive past it and be able to look better in the summer.
I think it would look a lot better.
Yep, it solves a couple problems, looks, snow, and parking, and we're in ordinance, so.
Do you have anything you'd like to add to that, Kent?
I was just gonna say, if the EDA wants to move forward, it'd be best to have a motion in a second.
That's what we'll do. If there's no more questions, can I get a motion to do the pavement on Seventh between Sidewinders and, was it Fallen Angels, did you say?
Yes.
Tattoo place. Anybody for motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Dave?
Second.
Second, Joseph. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right.
When are we looking to get this done?
Well, so right now with just everything in oil prices, and we don't know how they're gonna do, we're gonna try to get the contract, we'll try to get the contract signed with the contractor, and, they'll get it on,
Schedule?
get it on their schedule.
Key is to get the contract signed, so it's,
Is there any kind of a thing in there for variable pricing for oil?
Excuse me. And this one I don't see, we'll find that out. Sometimes they have some stuff in the fine print, or I know some of the contracts over the years, they'll say, the contract's good for 10 days, and then there's a blurb in there that says if oil prices change, they might have to do something, but we'll find out.
And is that would be part of the scheduling too? Is their trucks big enough where they can't be on the road during this time of year?
Yep, so road restrictions are on right now. Once road restrictions go on, they can't be on any longer than 6 weeks, but they can pull them off, depending on when frost comes out of the ground. So, like I said, a lot of that stuff, if you want to say worst case scenario, they're not gonna be able to do it until 6 weeks out from now, but I'd be surprised if we got in the schedule that quick, but
Okay.
we'll see.
Thanks for getting all the information together, and I think it's gonna be a good look for the city and help it out.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
Updates on facade improvements, huh? Is that next?
Right. Yeah, so the facade improvement program, last meeting, we discussed potential of expanding the parameters of the program. So currently, right now, it is strictly facade. I believe, Chris, do you know, we've only had, 2 turned in for that?
Yes, we have had 2 approved applications for it.
What was the, do you remember amounts off, in ballpark even?
I don't have those numbers up.
No problem, no problem. Well, we put initially $200,000 aside for the program, so we're well within its parameters. And I've heard talk of other places that might be interested, but we just haven't had anybody come forward yet. So one of the options that we were looking at for potentially expanding the program, do you allow like rooftop units, an AC unit, something like that that could still help out the businesses for the downtown? I don't know if that would overwhelm us or not, but I just kind of planted that seed at the last meeting to see your guys' thoughts. If you guys have had any more thoughts about that, I'd be open to open that up for that discussion.
Well, some of the buildings in North St. Paul are getting up in age, like where Joe's offices are there. How much of those older rooftops are in need of repair? And if you've done your own already, how many others will need it? Even like, I know one of the fellows that's interested in this is Hillcrest Brake and Alignment. That building's been there a long time. I don't know what his situation is on a roof like that there either.
Yeah, I'm not sure, just,
As a business owner, how does that sound? Is that something where you'd like to see it opened up, you know, as far as business owners, what your thoughts would be on that?
Definitely would be viewed as supportive of local businesses, I mean.
I mean, because there's always expenses, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta have heat. You can have a nice sign out front, but if you don't have heat or you got a leaky roof, it causes troubles too.
Then you're gonna move.
Yeah, if we can, I mean, this is, goes a long way towards keeping downtown what's downtown.
And that's really what I would like to see too, as far as, you know, we had a lot of growth and there was a lot of patience from everybody who's had buildings downtown, and with all the construction and everything else going on, you know, it's really nice to pay attention and, you know, thank everybody as far as, you know, sticking with it, because, you know, it was an inconvenience for businesses. It was a tough time. So, you know, and we appreciate them being there, you know. It's like anything else, you know, you look and everybody wants new people to come in. Well, we want people to stay too. So how can we get the businesses to stay is the big thing, as far as for us too, to know that they're appreciated. And is that maybe extending a little bit more to I know when we were talking at the signing, gave the guy the check for the windows, you know, he said, boy, that'd be awesome if we could, because he has some roof work that he has to go up there and have a kid shovel it off because it's, you know, starting to leak. And if, you know, I can get it done a little quicker, just like the windows on the front. He was only gonna do half of them, but all of a sudden our grant came, he goes, oh, now I was able to do all the windows up front now. So, you know, it helps them and helps the value of that building if they're there or if they wanna move on too.
And the difficult part about this might be, what kind of parameters do you put on it? I mean, you can't just say RTUs, I mean, or, you know, is it just HVAC stuff? I mean, is it amount of a boiler, an AC, and an RTU?
And that's what comes to my mind
Yep.
is where,
It's pretty vague.
when you say parameters, where does it end?
Yeah, it can't be structural, it can't be, you know, something like that.
We open it up where we just listen to people that, you know, coming with, I mean, everybody's gonna have a different idea if we're just opening up to parameters. So how do you pick and choose?
Is there,
That's the part I don't
Yeah.
like getting into.
Well, if we just pick 10 items and we could just tear it out, you know, on a timeline. First, we'll open it up for HVAC systems, then we'll go roofs, you know, just kind of keep it organized. That way you won't get overwhelmed with 500 requests.
Something to consider if we do take it to that level, when you're talking about, for example, roofs. I mean, we're maxing out at 40 grand and we're putting $200,000 towards this. You'd only take a couple of those and you'd be done for the year
Right,
as well.
yeah.
So then, again, then you got 8 submissions. And they're saying, well, we like these 2 businesses better, we're gonna go with them.
It'd have to be a first come, first serve, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get it.
mean, it's
Or
never easy.
limit it to a couple per year or something?
Well, you have your funds available, so once the funds are gone, then,
They're gone.
yeah, these
Yeah.
funds are, I mean, they're not gonna be replenished pretty much every single year to do something like this.
we do have a budget for a
Well.
year, but yeah.
Not if we're spending 60 grand on parking lots.
No.
You know?
Yep.
So,
we're sitting good right now.
Yep.
Yeah, we'd hope to have more people involved in the facade improvement program.
And
but,
it's half, you know, they have to pitch in too, so there's skin in the game, so that's.
And we lowered that,
Yep.
so that's been helpful too.
So how do we get out as far as businesses? How can we get, even to, just to get out for the facade part of it? We haven't had as many people as, you know, as businesses as we were hoping. You know, you're in the mix of it, or, you know, has the business been tight for people? Is it, do they know about it? You know, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think people know about it.
Okay,
It's been in our newsletter, we've posted it on the website. I've made some phone calls.
yeah, I know I've been mentioned in it too, but is there just not work to be done, or people like, geez, you know, that's a great, but I don't even have half to put in, so, you know, you just don't know where people are sitting.
And there's some people just too busy to jump in.
Is
Yeah.
it something that we could have a meeting on businesses that are interested to come in and explain what it's all about?
Well, I mean, our,
I mean, with the letters we've already sent out, you know.
I think the process is working pretty good now. I mean, people, if they're interested, they apply, and then they fill out the permit process, and we can bring it back to the board here and have that discussion. Yeah.
And how much of a need is it too? I mean, are people caught up, too?
Is there a handout that we could do that if one of us folks go to that business that's interested in doing it, I could hand them a flyer and say, contact this person, and we can go and learn, have you listened to what we have to offer?
Yeah, it'd be easy enough to make up, just reference them to our website, and we can put it back in our newsletter again, just to refresh it, especially with the nicer weather coming along.
Is there anywhere else, Ken, that, any other cities doing anything differently is there any kind of research you can do to see what other cities are doing as far as that when it comes to like facade or building improvements or some kind of an EDA function?
Mr. President, members of the EDA, typically what I've seen is their loan programs and not grant programs.
Yeah.
And maybe they're low-interest loans of 3% or 2%. So they're subsidized by the city that way. And then it might go up to $200,000 or something, depending on the project size, but that's not what we're in here.
Correct, yeah, we voted, we didn't want to have, we don't want to be a bank, we're just trying to help if we can.
Yep.
Okay.
Am I hearing correctly, there's not necessarily an appetite for rooftop units or HVAC right now?
Well, we don't know that part. There seems to be an appetite for a lot for what we're talking about already, but we haven't expanded because like you said, it's a slippery slope. How far do you go into it? And, so it's
so hard, I mean, where do you, from a construction standpoint, somebody needs a new roof, but their HVAC units are 20 years old too. Well, you should be doing both at the same time.
Right, exactly.
Well, you can't do both at the same time. Like, so then are we gonna say if we give you this money to do a new roof, you have to do that, I just, going back to this whole program, it's awesome, it's wonderful. We can't just be blowing money away.
Should we just stay with the facade end of it then?
Well, something needs to change. I think we're all in agreement there because not enough people are participating in that. So something needs to change. I'm surprised more businesses aren't participating in it. I think we've done a fairly good job in letting people know that it's out there. I've talked to local business owners. They're well aware of it. So,
I took it to the Business Association,
yeah.
too. I'm wondering how many of the businesses downtown that the business owners are actually the property owners, too.
Yep.
If get the information to the building
that
owners.
one guy lived out in Blaine, the one that owns the building where Sweeties is in. He's out that direction. He's a realtor for some company, but yeah, he lives out west somewhere.
Yeah.
Because the person should be hearing this, which would be the building owner.
Building owner, yeah.
Yep. So we can look into that a little more, too, to see if we have something in our,
How about the
Billing.
J building too, who's in charge of that, right?
that's a group of people, about 13 people that are owners of that. But, yeah, that can be looked into as well.
Is this information getting back to the owners from the people that are leasing or the businesses leasing the space?
Unless they're
That might be
signed
a-
up.
That might be a reason why there hasn't been a lot of interest, because the building owner hasn't really heard about it.
And unless they're signed up for our newsletter or getting onto our website, but yeah, we wouldn't sometimes not even have their address. So
How about the VFW where they were turned down? Have they ever come back with anything yet?
not for anything different than that.
I know at one time, one of the former council members was talking about starting to charge for downtown to have the snow removed and doing the sidewalk and all that. Didn't like that idea, but is it something where maybe the EDA picks up that tab for that, so it's not on the regular tax dollars? Because it is part of the business function. Any thoughts on that?
How much is that a year? I know we've talked about it. 11 grand. It wasn't, I mean, it wasn't crazy amount.
That was a long time ago. It's,
No, when you guys build, but,
yeah.
but, in the last 2 years though, we've discussed about bringing that back and charging the business owners, and I know we had talked about how much it cost in the past.
And I really appreciate what Ron said too, because I went up to Duluth to Canal this winter, and I had to try to get over that mountain to get to the store, and I almost killed myself. I mean, it was just awful, and I remember just looking at that going, man, I really appreciate downtown North St. Paul. I mean, you can walk right in, you don't have to try to go over the big hump where the meter was over in Canal Park. It was awful. So, I mean, that's something where it benefits the businesses too. Maybe, you know, instead of coming out of the general fund, it could come out of the EDA fund as far as for the snow on that too. I don't know if that's just moving money or.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to vote on something like that and what we're here for. But yeah, I mean, I get it.
Well, it's to support the businesses. That's what I'm just trying to, because before it was starting to charge businesses. I really don't want to do that. And I think we provide a good service for that. But that's something we can think about too.
Just curious,
Yes.
was there any effort with this lot to buy out the other businesses in order to increase space, or maybe anywhere else?
Oh, for the businesses, yeah. The Sidewinders, it's kind of what, we really don't want to get into that right now. What's it, the church and the tattoo shop?
Yep.
But, you know, I think what would happen is if one of those two decide to sell, then we would, you know, join, you know, see if it's feasible for us to buy it or to invest with them, or we sell as a group type of thing, but. Because, you know, I know, you know, for the amount of money we do and the tax thing, holding on to properties that were in a distress, and we picked up properties we have picked up have been the old BP, which was vacant. We wanted to keep that for the 120, 36 corridor, which makes sense, so you don't have to buy somebody else out, and old gas stations that the lot was weird, like right price and stuff like that. But,
So Article 7 was done
yep. That started out with Port Authority for Article 7.
for the Lily renting. Yep.
Yep, so that's how that went, and we got rid of, that was 4 blighted properties that, our Article 7 came, they all got together and made and that's how they got the development there, but you're absolutely right, that's the reason why we want to talk about doing the blacktop too, is that building, that spot is not gonna sell unless somebody else on either side does something. It's just not big enough for anything to
Yeah.
go in there.
Did the ice cream shop end up selling?
I haven't heard of it finally, or did or not.
I heard it's still on the market, last I
Oh,
heard.
did you? Okay.
Well, that's last I heard.
But,
Yep.
so, well, thoughts, I mean, I agree with you, Joe, too. It's tough to, you know, draw parameters and, you know, we want to be there, but have to keep budget in mind, too.
Can we find out, you know, not to share with, but do a little research on who owns most of the property downtown on 7th Street?
Oh, yeah.
Is there any way you guys can get access to that?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Off the tack record, so.
and you guys would know, you know, obviously who has businesses in town and just, I mean, if there's 10, 15 people that own real estate downtown but aren't active in the community, let's try and reach out to them.
Makes a lot of sense.
Let's try and do that.
With the program we have now, reach out to them with what we're doing,
Yeah.
and we'll see how that goes.
Opinion on that?
You guys think?
I like that, I like reaching out for sure. Yeah, that'd be great, but, you know, we need to structure something, you know, come up with some kind of game plan, what we're gonna include in the.
Do you think we just take the program we have right now and just reach out to the owners and see how that goes, and then we can tweak the program if nobody's interested? If they go, oh, wow, you're gonna do windows? I can do that, but nobody told me that was
I
happening.
think that's our logical first step,
Okay,
for sure.
so if we hit the owners with the tax records and then tell them what we got going right now, and I don't know if you can do kind of almost like a survey too of, you know, I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's so tough.
We can certainly do that.
Yeah, let's do that. We got the program in, we've had a couple people interested, maybe just not getting to the right people. Just like you said, maybe it's just not getting to, I don't
get
know
out there
how
and-
the guy, I should have asked him, the guy over at Sweeties, you know, how that came about, but he thought it was an awesome program. He goes, well, these windows, you know, they're terrible because he faced south, you know, he goes, they're hot in, you know, summertime or the winter, you know, the summertime coming in, and, you know, they're just single pane. It made a big difference for him. And he looked at your guys' building over in Centennial and did black ones, because he said, oh, I wanted to match, they look really nice across the street there, so.
Yeah, we can do another push on this program. Get it out there
Let's
more.
do that first, and, because I think when we talk about this stuff, we have more questions than answers when we're done with it, because it's always like, well, if it does that, then does it extend into this? What kind of parameters, you know, how much of that budget are we going to put up for, you know, as far as improvements, and, you know, I don't know what some of the other ones for the EDA did as far as getting involved with some of these bigger things. Was the EDA involved much with Article 7 and Sentinel?
A little bit at first. I mean, we got the port involved. They gave us good direction, and it kind of gained feet from there.
Yeah, and we did. We had a whole section there that really needed to be redeveloped. We don't have huge sections right now. That, you know, it was awesome that where the old city hall was, you know, to get that building in, it was perfect. And of course, now we have anchors completely developed, so we don't have a lot of spots left that, unless something gets torn down or something, you know, there's a big movement on that. But then part of our hometown thing too is we have these little quirky old buildings, and that's part of our culture too, so.
The charm
We
of
want to
downtown.
try to make sure that, you know, they're welcome, and we want to help them keep them going, because it's part of our quaint downtown.
Indeed.
So let's do that. Let's start out with that, see how that goes. Our next meeting in June, we can decide what other kind of tweaking, and if there's anything else that comes up.
Perfect. I do have one more issue to discuss under that facade improvement program, and if you guys can picture the Dew building on the corner of Charles and 7th Avenue, they have a retaining wall that is out in front of it that's pretty well disintegrated. In your opinion, would the facade improvement program apply to that? I've not reached out to him, but if you guys thought it might apply, I know that project would be probably over $100,000, so could be potentially a $40,000 turn-in for a rebate, but our grant part. But if you guys are open to that, I can reach out to them and see. Or do you feel that's not really part of a storefront per se, or windows or doors or sign, or
Which building is this?
the Dew building?
The concrete that's falling apart in their sidewalks.
And the retaining wall.
Anyway, yes.
Yeah, they have like a railing and a ramp that goes up to the offices. So he has like a retaining wall, ramp, and then the building.
20 grand's the most I can get.
Is that what we maxed out at? Was it
20 grand's the most. 20 grand's the most.
Oh, so they'd have to spend
I
40.
just had, I had a double, it's not, I just needed a double check. 20 grand is the most. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, no,
Getting training now, how are they gonna bring up the rest of the money? Are they interested in actually moving forward with this project?
Not sure. I haven't reached out. I know they want to improve it. Yep.
Well, training ground will be a start, and see whether they would like to do something more, put some money in there. Look at other options, then introduce me to them. And then we'll see whether we can do some financial transactions from the bank or what have you, just to kind of encourage them and see how we can get things going. Because now we do have a business specialist here that will open to work with local businesses, so we're gonna be going around talking to them and see how we can help, what project they have coming up, what they might be planning in the future.
Yeah, that's independent of us here, but yeah. Yep.
Well, it's the facade. It's
I was gonna say, I mean, that'd be part of the facade improvement, in my opinion.
Yeah, that counts as a facade in my mind.
It's right on the sidewalk.
You can see it.
It's high profile.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
mean, it improves the the look. I think I'd support that, I think.
Everybody else good with that? All right. Let's talk to
Wonderful.
them and see if they're looking at doing something.
All right, unless anybody has anything else about the facade improvement program, we can move on to discussion about the car show.
Sounds good.
So we've been looking for another agency, if you will, to pick up the other Fridays of the car show. The car show, you know, their personnel is getting older. The people that kind of run it, they're in their 70s and 80s, and it's getting harder for them. And so they were cutting back. They went to halftime, going every other Friday. We've reached out to a couple different programs, but we have one that's pretty interested. They have not signed anything yet, but it's looking pretty good that we might have somebody else to pick up those other Fridays. I don't know how much detail I want to get into it since they don't have a signed contract, but they are hoping to come to council probably on the first April meeting on the 7th to make introductions and have council approve that contract. So really good for the downtown businesses.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty excited about that.
Thank you for your work on that too. I know that's a big concern with all of the business owners. I shouldn't say all, but a lot of the business owners up and down 7th. So thank you.
Yeah, it happened kind of bang, bang. We talked to one agency that they sounded pretty interested, and then the next day got another lead, and they were on board right away. They were, so,
I heard a lot of good things about how it is for us down here.
yeah, they're all familiar with the program and our car show and have been to it many, many times, so. Yeah, so that was just kind of a heads up with that, which I think,
Saving grace for this whole community.
yeah, very, very beneficial. So I sorry to be so vague, but at least it's good news. I just wanted to get it out there.
Yeah,
Cool.
very good.
Do you have anything you'd like to add to that, Kent? Okay. And then just updates. I'll turn it over to you for staff updates at first.
Oh, staff updates. What are we doing, Chris? Oh. Quick Trip got approved to add a second car wash. Hopefully they'll be applying for their permits anytime to go through. So that'll be a nice addition. Apparently they're very busy and very popular. The other thing we're working on right now, or starting to work on, is the update to the comprehensive plan. That needs to be done in about 2.5 years to the Met Council. So at some point, we'll be coming back to the EDA to get your comments on the economic development chapter in the plan. My sense is right now that the plan itself, a lot of it is still very relevant and useful. So I don't foresee a major rewrite where we just start from scratch and start over. But there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of things that need to be updated, reflect new development trends, all new statistics that are 10 years newer than what's in the current plan. So I would think we'll be back to the EDA by the end of the year to talk to you in more detail about that. It'll be coming fast. 2.5 years seems like a long ways, but really we need to have that submitted in about 2 years to give the Met Council their time to do their reviews and make any changes that might be necessary. That's probably we are working on a grant application with the DNR for improving the hockey rink at Casey Lake Park. That'd be a 50-50 grant match. Council approved that back in February to make the submittal. We made a submittal of a preliminary application. DNR sent it back with some comments, change this, correct this, provide better information, but it wasn't anything really too onerous or frightening. And then we'll wrap that all up, and we have to submit that by the end of March. We'll hear by summertime if the city gets the grant. I think we're in a good position, but it depends how many grants they get and our grant applications, how much money they have. The idea is if it gets approved, we'd finalize the construction plans in 2026 and redo the hockey rink in 2027, so it'll be open in the fall of 2027. The big thing is, the proposal is to tear out all the rink that's there, put in a concrete base of 5 or 6 inches of concrete so it can be used 12 months of the year. It'll be, of course, level and all that, so it works better for flooding in the winter, holds the water better, and having a light concrete surface, it won't melt as fast. With our winters being so wonky, who knows? But it'll be also striped for summer use, whether it's roller hockey, maybe pickleball, maybe just even for riding scooters and bicycles in it. But the DNR likes to know that if they're giving grant money, that'll be used for outdoor activities 12 months of the year. And we're trying to emphasize that. So that'll be a really nice addition to Casey Lake Park if we can get that. And we had a few hockey teams reach out about renting it or at least reserving it. And if we can put in it would have all new dashboards and new lights too. It'd be a complete rebuild, some paid parking right by the rink. If that all can come together, I think it'll get a lot more use, and it'd be definitely a benefit to not just North St. Paul, but anybody that ice skates in the area. That is all I have.
I'd like to discuss at a high level our RFP for the solid waste.
For which?
Solid waste?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Brian. We are in the process of reviewing RFPs for the solid waste and recycling contract for the city. That expires September 1st. We put out RFPs saying, please make a submittal if you want. We received 7 proposals, which is good. Our consultant said usually you might get 3 or 4. A couple of national companies and several local companies. We're starting to review those 7 proposals now, looking at not only the financials, but are there alternative services that they could provide and at what cost for, saying, picking up bulky waste. So maybe cleanup day isn't such a crazy madhouse on the first Saturday or second Saturday in May. Maybe it gets picked up. Maybe you get to put out 2 items a month. And then that's just cost is rolled into your solid waste garbage recycling bill that the city collects. Maybe they do it where 1 Monday a month they're out picking up things with a reservation. Those are alternatives we will be looking at very carefully when analyzing the contracts. And what we're expecting to do, we'll have 2 or 3, I think that'll kind of rise to the top. We have a committee of staff people looking at the contracts with our consultant. We'll bring those companies in for interviews and learn more about them and see what they're doing, and maybe put some alternatives back at them and say, well, we're looking at this other company is proposing this, can you match it? Can you modify your proposal? And I think in the end we'll have a better setup than currently have. It'll be a 5-year contract, so we don't have to go through this too often, but yet it, as Dan has said many times, it does show the value of having an RFP, because you don't know what you're going to get unless you put it out there. And it took some time. We had some good help with our consultant, and the city staff put a lot of thought into it. And we hope to have a contract proposal to the council by the end of May, get that signed, so then if there's transition to a different hauler, they'll be ready to go by September 1st.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thanks.
I got one quick thing to add. We are working with a fiber contractor on some final contracts for whether that's pole attachments or right-of-way permits, things of the such. But that is MetroNet is looking at getting a foothold in our city, and we're working on the final contracts for that coming up. So more to come on that, but just getting that off the ground.
Looking forward to getting north. It's not quite as far up as me yet.
Yep.
All right.
Go
Thank you.
around. Yep.
Does anybody have anything? I know we're past our time, so I don't want to, if anybody has anything that they would like to add at this time. If not, I really appreciate you guys coming in and the value you give to the city, and it's much appreciated, and we'll do this again in June. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
So move, Dave.
Second.
Second, Joe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.